We throw around the words happiness and joy like they're the same thing. But what if they're not? What if they're profoundly different? Well, today we're going to dive into the work of author Albert Paitou, who makes a powerful case that understanding this very difference could be the key to a much deeper, more stable life.
So Albert Paitou kicks things off with a feeling that I think hits home for a lot of us. It's that hollow sense that something's missing, even when, on paper, everything looks great. Your career's on track, your relationships are good, but there's still this void. So what's really going on here? Well, to get to the bottom of that feeling, Albert Paitou says we first have to take a hard look at what we usually mean by happiness. He argues the problem actually starts with how we define it, and more importantly, where we're looking for it.
Right here, in his writing, Paitou lays out his diagnosis. He basically says that when we build our lives on the pursuit of happiness, it's like building a house on sand. It just can't hold up when life gets tough, when the real storms inevitably arrive.
Paitou gets really specific with his definition. He points out that the word happiness actually comes from an old word, hap, which just means luck or chance. And this is brilliant, right? Because it perfectly illustrates his point. Happiness, at its very core, is just a response to good things happening to us. It's totally tied to our external world.
And this is where Paitou really breaks it down for us. Because happiness is triggered by outside events, it can only stick around as long as those good circumstances last. And when life, does what life does and things go wrong, that happiness gets destroyed just as easily.
And what does that lead to? He calls it an endless treadmill of circumstance management. And wow, doesn't that just hit the nail on the head? It's that constant hustle, managing our jobs, our money, our relationships, all in this desperate hope of creating and holding on to that feeling of happiness. It's exhausting, and Paitou argues it's never going to give us that deep, durable peace we're actually searching for.
Okay, so if happiness is this fragile, what are we supposed to do? What's the alternative? Well, for Albert Paitou, the answer isn't just trying to get more happiness. No, it's about cultivating something completely different. And that something is joy.
So if we look at his text again, Paitou makes this really clear pivot. He defines joy not as a feeling that comes from things going your way, but as a disposition, something that's rooted in a reality that can't be shaken by your circumstances. Okay, let's really dig into what Paitou means here. The two big ideas are internal disposition and being anchored to an unchanging reality. See, unlike happiness, joy isn't just a reaction. It's an internal posture. It's a choice, a way you orient your soul towards something you hold as deeply and permanently true, like your core values or your purpose, no matter what's going on around you.
So here's the real game changer. Joy, the way Paitou sees it, works on a totally different operating system. It's not something that just happens to you. It's a disposition you choose. It's something you can actually practice and cultivate. And this is huge. It means you can experience joy even in moments of profound sadness or struggle because it's not dependent on things going well.
All right, after laying all this groundwork, Albert Paitou just boils this whole complex idea down into one incredibly powerful and memorable statement that captures everything. It's so good. And there it is. Man, this one line just says it all, doesn't it? Happiness is that pleasant feeling you get when you get a promotion or the sun is shining. But joy? Joy is that profound strength, that deep anchor that holds you steady when the storms of life hit. It's the foundation underneath the feelings.
So let's look at this side by side. This chart just lays it all out so clearly. You can see on every single point, from its source to our control over it, Paitou is showing us that joy is the stable internal thing that we can choose, while happiness is just, well, it's a fleeting reaction to the world around us. Which brings us to Paitou's final and maybe most important point. Look, if joy is all about being anchored to an unchanging reality, then the foundation it's built on has to be unchangeable itself. Simple as that. It can't be built on our careers, or our health, or our bank accounts, right? Because all of those things can and probably will change. And so all of Albert Paitou's work really leaves us with this one big question to ask ourselves. Is your foundation built on what happens to you or what's true within you? Are you spending all your energy on that treadmill just trying to manage circumstances to feel happy? Or are you building something deeper, something anchored in joy? Because according to Paitou, that difference, well, it changes absolutely everything.